Coach, welcome to the WyoNation podcast. Again, I'm Bryan Stevens. I'm the basketball contributor here. Please introduce yourself. Let us know kind of just a little background on you as part of the team and kind of what your role is as an assistant there.
Sure. Nick Whitmore. This is my second year here at the University of Wyoming. Came from North Carolina, most recently before that, where I was a prep school coach. Was in New Hampshire before that, and then San Francisco for about 7.5 years at USF, and I was a high school coach before that. So kind of bounced around coasts. Here, work with primarily the wings, recruit mostly East Coast, West Coast, and then international kind of student athletes. Those are sort of my three buckets.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of international flair this year. I assume that you had a lot to do with that when they came in.
Yeah, I think that's something I've always kind of recruited internationally, particularly Europe, since I was at San Francisco, and over the last 10 years. It's been something that I've been interested in as it's grown and as basketball over there has continued to develop, and more Europeans are coming to the States. And I think Wyoming's a great place to really pull those kids to, and I think it's kind of a natural fit for his style of play and the way he sees the game, really in line with European basketball and team first mentality.
Good deal. So, speaking of the team first mentality, this is a team that was put together really late in the recruiting cycle. I know you're one of the few holdovers from the old coaching regime. How difficult was it to put this team together, and how did you guys get the pieces to line up the way you needed to?
I think it's changed dramatically from 10 years ago when I was at San Francisco with the portal and all those kind of things. So my background as a prep school coach, I think, actually lends itself to this setting where every year you're kind of building teams, and working in independent boarding schools. And I was in the admissions office. You're really trying to attract the best candidates, and sometimes they don't stay. And so for me, it's a little more natural probably than people that have been in coaching for 30 years. But I think our staff did a great job, and Coach Reynolds, Coach Monahan, Coach O'Flanagan, Coach Vandiver, and obviously Coach Wicks. I think we got the job and really hit the ground running. And I think what we tried to do was identify the best players that we could that fit us culturally and were about the things that we want our team to be about. And I think we've been really fortunate that these guys have bought in, and I think we're seeing some results on the court now. But really good kids, and I'm proud of the way we were able to put it together quickly. And you don't always get it right in those situations. And I think we did a pretty good job, all things considered, given the nature of putting it together.
Awesome. I would agree. I would say this season is going better than a lot of people expected with the kind of rush to put the roster together. We're just starting into the conference portion of the schedule. I can tell you from my end, it seems like we were pretty darn successful in the non-conference portion. There were a couple of juggernauts on there in Texas Tech and BYU where the game might not have gone the way that we wanted to, but kind of give me your thoughts on how non-conference went and the growth you've seen from the team since the tip-off with College Idaho.
Yeah, I think, we've got kids that have come from all different situations. And so the non-con, when you look at it, I think we were able to get some really good wins. We were able to protect our home court. You go through the non-conference undefeated, which was a big goal for us, is making sure that when people come to Laramie, we make it as hard as possible for them and really take pride in doing that. And so I think we were successful there. I think there's some games that, you're in. LMU's a one-possession game. South Dakota's a one-possession game. And a lot of that I attribute to as we're building the team. And to your question earlier about kind of finding guys and putting them together late, we've got kids that have never played Division I basketball before. Obi was at a D2 and junior college before that. And so there's an adjustment period. I think what we're seeing now as we enter league is these guys are a lot more comfortable, a lot more mature. And, some of those games you wish you could have them back, where it's just, as Coach always says, what's one thing you could have done better in that game that, we flipped the results. And I think our guys are really internalizing that. And I think as we mature and continue to build cohesion and certain guys are getting more comfortable in their roles, hopefully that just continues to manifest in success on the court and us playing the right way.
Yeah, I hope so too. Now, in the non-conference portion of the schedule, you had, 3 tournament teams, and you've played 3 tournament teams from the Mountain West since you've come in. You've been fairly successful with those teams. Obviously, again, Texas Tech is a different animal. They're going to go deep this year. BYU is a tough draw, but you've done really well against the Nevadas, the Boise's, the New Mexicos of the world. What kind of scouting are you doing that's able to keep this close? I know Coach Wicks says that he wants the pace to be very slow, to really slow people down and make them think, give them opportunities to make mistakes. But what things are you seeing from the players that are helping keep these games close?
Yeah, I think role definition, as guys start to understand what's a good shot for me, what do we want for our team, how are we using possession length to get the best shots and really create, as coach always talks about, pressure and stress for the opposing team. I think that's created kind of a unique identity for us right now, and we're different than a lot of the other Mountain West teams in the fact that we are really using more of the possession than a lot of our opposition. And I think what that has allowed us to do is neutralize, athleticism and talent that some of these other teams have, and make them play a style in which they're uncomfortable. So I think, Boise, New Mexico, those are two good examples where we were able to hold them to a lower scoring output, lower possessions than they're used to. And therefore, they hopefully get tight and they come to Laramie and they got to deal with altitude and everything else. And it plays in our favor. But I think our players have really done a good job. And I think we've got a great staff in terms of the amount of prep work we put in. And that's Coach Wicks, he gets here at 5 and he's here, until 7 every night. And I think our staff kind of embodies that. And so what we try to do is find whatever we can that is going to give us an advantage and allow us to have an opportunity to beat whatever team that is. And then the maturity of our team, I do think this is where, we don't have a bunch of freshmen right now. We've got guys that have done this, and we've got 4 and 5-year college players on our roster at whatever level that is. And so they know how to win, they know how to execute a game plan. And I think they've really bought in. So I think the future is really bright where we're headed. I'm excited for this next stretch, and as we get into Mountain West play, to hopefully continue to execute and win some games.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the teams in, Boise, New Mexico, Nevada, those were all close games. And part of the frustrations we're hearing from the fan side is free throw percentage. I know we're sitting down in the 260s right now. Could you talk, but it has been improving. Could you talk about, where those struggles are coming from, and, how the players are working to improve on that aspect? Because as we know, every point's important when we get to league play.
Yeah, no, and we talk about that a lot, and something we've placed more of a priority and premium on in practice. Today was a lighter day because it's not an off day, but not a heavy load day while we have a little break here with the bye week. But that's something that we're working on in practice. We had guys in the gym yesterday that were shooting free throws, making 100 each. So I'm a big believer, and I'm probably different from some other people on this, that it's really a mindset thing when you step up to the line, and you might be able to tweak form a little bit and do some things right now that some of these guys, and they feel the pressure. They miss 1 or 2 in a game, and they know it's a 1-possession game, and they come in and want to know, what do I need to fix? And for me, it's always you step up to the line and it's 100% confident and every shot's going in. And so I think a lot of it is just conditioning them to believe in themselves and step up to the line in pressure-filled situations and knock them down. And there's no magic bullet for that. I think it's self-talk, and it's prep, and it's doing the same thing over and over again. So when you get to the game, it just becomes second nature. And I think that'll improve. And again, some of it is we got guys that are being asked to fill roles that they haven't had to at other schools and in other programs. And I think some of that's natural. And you wish you could have had some of those back, but it's just get back to work and keep practicing. And there's no, as I said, silver magic bullet for that one. It's just you got to get in the gym and you got to keep shooting.
Best you can do. You talked earlier about Obi being an example of a player that's never played D1 basketball before. Coach Wicks has called him the Batman of the team with a lot of different Robins. Who are some other players that have come in this year that have really outpaced their expectations, like just really shone brightly more than you expected them to?
Yeah, I think we could probably go down the list. I think a guy like Abu Magassa, who didn't get to play at St. Louis last year because of he was a credit short, basically, to be able to get through the NCAA clearinghouse from France. I think he's somebody that's really come in and has embraced his role, and as essentially a true freshman in college basketball, in a top 6 league, he's really stepped in and had impactful minutes and didn't miss a field goal against New Mexico in the last game. He's really rebounded at a high level. So I think he's somebody that's just going to continue to grow. Somebody like AJ Wills, who came in the last 2 games, he's really been relied on heavily. And as a freshman at Holy Cross, spot minutes kind of up and down, and you go from the Patriot League to the Mountain West, and the physicality and the jump, and he's really done a nice job. And even somebody like Jordan Nesbitt, you come from Hampton and come in here, and the impact he's been able to have. So I could probably go down the list, honestly, from top to bottom, and some of it's stuff you guys as fans don't even get to see, because in practice there's been some really tremendous growth, even if some of these guys aren't playing as much on the court. So that's what I've been really most encouraged by, and I think this is where Coach Wicks is so good, is getting these guys to understand and believe in themselves and put in the work. So
I,
when they do get that opportunity, they're ready to make the most of it.
Good deal. I would say that Abumagas is very underrated on the fan side for just the work that he puts in and the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. So I'm glad you pointed him out.
Sure.
I know we're running up on time. What should we expect to see as fans going through the conference season, which is easily the toughest part of the schedule?
I think for us, what I'm most excited about, and every team is different, and this is my 20th year, I guess, of coaching. I date myself; I'm old now, but having done this every year since I was essentially 22, each team's different. But one of the things I think that's really unique about this group and that makes me really excited is their belief in themselves and their composure, to not get too high and not get too low. But it's one of those things that it does feel like there's some genuine belief that we can really make a run and do something special in league. And that's, every year there's teams that tank and teams that don't feel that way for whatever reason. And I think with this group, that's what I've been most impressed by is their genuine belief and desire to get better. And, we'll lose a game and you come in the gym the next morning, there's guys working out and guys watching film. And so that's all really encouraging signs. But I think for us, we want to continue to make life miserable for the opposition when they come to Laramie and go out and then steal games on the road, which is the hardest thing you can do in college basketball. But I think the belief is there. We just got to continue to keep rolling and keep working.
That's great. Thanks for the time, Coach. I know you've got to get to practice. Just to let everybody know, our next homestand is Saturday the 18th against Colorado State. We need everybody to show up. We remember what happened last year. That was a heck of a good time, and if you guys can be there in person, please do. Coach, thanks again for the time.
Yeah, no, great talking to you, Brian. Have a good one.
You too.